This is Singapore Cube Championship, a yearly competition recognized by the World Cube Association. Competitors from various countries come over to compete, including some very high-profile ones whom the whole world is watching, making this more than just a local event. So for the official t-shirt of the event, I wanted something that the foreign competitors would feel that it's cool and they want to remember their time here with. And it also presents our country in a professional manner and is also recognizable to our national identity. I decided to make my own interpretation of what the official t-shirt of this competition should look like. And because this is a WCA competition, I wanted to represent as many events as I could. And since it's in Singapore, I also want to represent something that's Singapore. So my final decision was to blend the WCA events into the Singapore Skyline. So I initially started from a sketch on paper, but I later traced it over digitally to neaten up all the lines. And I actually posted it on social media with a remark saying that I hope this can be used in 2025 because there was already a design circulating for the 2024 comp. But I got contacted by the organizers who wanted to use my design over the original one, which I gladly agreed to, and I later on made a 2-color version to make the WCA event stand out a bit more, and this was what eventually became the final design. We have 2 events where it's not actually 2 events, it's 2 groups of events that are quite similar, which are big cubes and blindfold events. What I really like about this is that you can actually train for 1 event and have skill carry over to 3. But I mean, for a t-shirt design, I do think it's a bit repetitive. I decided to just pick one to represent the whole group. I actually picked the midpoint because the blindfold events are 3, 4, and 5 blindfolded, plus multi-blind, I just picked 4, and then big cubes are 5, 6, 7, I picked 6. The actual buildings in question are the Swiss Hotel at Stanford. Like, this building has a big window. It matches with a blindfold, which is why I put a blindfold cube there. We have the Minelia Tower. This one actually chose this one to represent the big cubes, partly because it's quite a big building itself, and if you look at the design, I've also made 2 of the columns of the tower match the outer layer of the 6x6. And one other thing about this 6x6 that is really indicative of my art style is it has 9 Florian holes. This is based on a very specific 6x6 that was designed by me. And then a few mass-produced models that don't look like this originally, but I modified them. And also in the hard copy sketch, I initially wanted to use an 8x8 to represent big cubes, just to flex the wow factor of the big cubes, but during the digital tracing, I decided to change it to 6x6 in favor of a more accurate representation of the WCA events. And finally, here are just some other proposals that maybe can be used in a future year's championship. So overall, I was quite happy with the positive reception to the shirts. I do hope, like, those of you who have actually bought it, whether you're foreign or local, you have a cool souvenir to remember this competition by.